The views expressed on the Nova Society are those of the panelists and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the Phoenix Research Institute or any institution which any panel member is associated. Welcome back to the Nova Society, the space where dialogue deepens understanding and civic responsibility comes to life. I'm Dr. Mark Bound, joined by our regular panel, Dr. Scott Gershwer and Dr. Brooklyn Ann Weldon. Together, we'll unpack the stories that matter most, exploring the headlines, the history, and the big ideas shaping today's conversations. Let's dive in and hear what the panel has for us today.
So today we have a question from Roberta, who writes to us from Scranton, Pennsylvania. And Roberta writes, I'll admit it, every time one of Trump's plans collapses under its own weight, I feel a certain satisfaction. And this week has been something to watch. Major figures have pulled out of Freedom 250, leaving the whole event looking like a circus on the White House lawn. Trump's name has been removed from the Kennedy Center. I won't lie, that moment made me laugh. His fund to support the January 6th defendants, traitors, has been blocked even by members of his own party. The so-called peace deal is stalled, just as many expected. Congress finally stepped in and limited his war powers. And on top of all that, the national debt has now hit $39 trillion. But hey, he can identify an elephant, a horse, and a dog. All this winning must be incredibly fulfilling. My question for the panel is this. While I'd love to hear your thoughts on the broader chaos, Trump is reportedly planning to nominate Todd Blanche as the next Attorney General. Do you think that nomination has any real chance of moving forward? That's an excellent question, Roberta.
Yeah, a little Schadenfreude there, huh?
Yeah.
I would feel a lot more gleeful about it, I suppose, if I didn't think that we were in the firing line. With Bill,
what is his name? We've got Bill Pulte now as a the acting DNI. So that's not so marvelous. And Mark Wayne Mullen saying, well, we're not gonna have people to pull for the cities, the sanctuary cities. So they're not going to do it for Newark. They've knocked Newark off the list, but for everybody else, they want to stop the flights.
His latest
17 cities.
His latest thing, I think, Mark Ray Mullen was that he's saying, well, if you get a court order, you're gonna follow it, which has always been Trump's. Trump has always said, look, if the courts tell me to do something, I do it, right? He's always made that claim. And I think for the most part, he has. He usually tries to find some other way around it, but that's fine. But Mark Ray Mullen said, well, it depends on the court order and the court. And that's not acceptable. The one thing, so I have a really good friend who's a judge, and he gave a court order to the NYPD. Oh, this is a while ago. I think I probably talked about it here. They were holding somebody in handcuffs at Rikers Island. He really needed to be in a mental facility. And he gave a court order that they needed to get him out of there. And they slow walked it, and they kind of refused, and he was still there. And he got infuriated. And he said that he's never faced that before. And all his time as a judge, was going on now for a while, 20 years or something like that, that that usually when there's a court order, the NYPD looks at it as cover. They were ordered to do it by a judge, blame the judge, and they just do it. And he said for the first time ever, they're getting pushed back. And he had to threaten them. He said, I am going to hold every single one of you in contempt of court for every second that this guy is in prison. And like on a Friday afternoon, they let him out, took the handcuffs off, and put him in this facility that he needed to be in. So Mark Wayne Mullen, that is a very disturbing thing for you to say about not following court orders. And probably if other Trumpers in the administration begin to feel the same way, then we've got something else going on. Todd Blanche is the president's personal criminal attorney. He represented him in a case where Trump was found guilty. And you can think it's trivial that he was found guilty. You could say that the charges weren't important enough. Was cheating on his taxes, I guess, or I don't even remember what the thing was about. It had to do with Stormy Daniels and the payoff. But he was found guilty by a jury, and that's serious business. Todd Blanche that lost that case. He's not a particularly good lawyer, is I think my point here, and that Todd Blanche should not be the Attorney General of the United States of America. So I don't know what's going to happen there, but because obviously that's going to be up to the Republicans in Congress, in the Senate specifically, and I don't know what's going to happen, but I really do hope. And again, he's a family friend. He was my brother's paralegal before he even went to law school at Southern District of New York, and my brother doesn't have much to say about it, but he is surprised that he has turned out the way he has.
Yeah, I guess there is a lot to be gleeful for. Now, the one thing that was mentioned was this War Powers Act, Congress. Well, first of all, yes, it passed Congress. Only 4 Republicans crossed it out. That is important. It'll never get through the Senate. And even if it did, it'll never get signed by Trump. So it's really more of you can be gleeful about it, and you can say, well, gee, they're stepping up, but they don't have enough votes to break a veto. So it's really more symbolic than it is anything else. As far as Todd Blanche is concerned, and you know what, Scott, I don't know if he's a good lawyer or he's a bad lawyer, but let's face it, he was stuck with the hand he was dealt with, which was a pretty crappy hand to begin with. I don't know if some of the greatest lawyers ever in history could have possibly done much better, because you got a crappy client who did some crappy things, and the evidence is there. So I can't see how that would change. Yeah, bro.
How do you not? Yeah, but you just don't take the job. I mean, other people turned it down. I mean, didn't he leave a law firm to take the job? Yeah, you don't take the job. You say no, thank you.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before with other people, right? You say, I'm not qualified for this. Thank you very much for thinking of me, but you need to find somebody else. He's clearly not doing that. I mean, he's look, I'll step away from my family here. Todd Blanche is not just a poor lawyer. Todd Blanche is a corrupt individual. There's no doubt in my mind about that. He is. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was thinking of when he took on the Orange Man for a client in the first place. If he was dealt a rotten client and a bad hand, well, then you just don't take that particular job. He didn't have to have Trump for a client, did he? He could have said, no, thank you.
Right. And he also should, and I'm sure this was not lost on him, that Trump doesn't pay his lawyers very often, which is why he ran through every decent lawyer in New York before getting down to a Todd Blanche. And I know that. And look, had he hired my brother, he would have gotten off, because my brother's a really, really good attorney. And as somebody who argues with him all the time, he's good at finding the right argument and making it. But the fact remains, I don't think he would have taken that case. And I don't think he would work for Trump, because Trump doesn't pay his lawyers. And you can talk to any number of them over the years that he's stiffed. So, why would you want to go to work for a guy who is likely not going to ever pay you?
Well, I know. Here's the thing, Brooke. I think the fact is that, why would you take the case? In our legal system, everybody deserves representation. So somebody has to take the case. Somebody has to.
let it be a public defender then. I mean, if he sure, I recognize he's due a defense, but it does if no one will take it, then he has to be assigned a public defender.
Well, okay. You say, why did he take the case? He could become the next attorney general.
Yeah, but
I know maybe he
didn't
get paid. Maybe he didn't get paid, but he's about to become the attorney general. What about that girl? What the heck was her name? She became the U.S. attorney that she was unqualified for.
Bondi?
Not Bondi. No, it was one of the blonde girl, young, and they basically, the court said she wasn't qualified, and she lost the job there.
Haba? Alina Haba?
Could be Haba. Yeah, Haba. Yeah. So, again, she sometimes
the parking lot lawyer or whatever she was.
Whatever, whatever.
Or something.
But the fact is that there's their reward as far as Trump is concerned.
Being humiliated publicly is their reward.
Yeah.
No, getting the position. I'll tell you something. Pam Bondi was an absolute crappy attorney general, but she will go down in history as the attorney general of the United States. You can't take that away from her. Can't do it. And even though that may not mean anything to us,
take her license away from her.
They could try. Certainly. And again, we'll see what happens into that. But the fact is that, they get in people in these positions. Unlike Scott's brother, they do this for different reasons. And the different reasons are, let's face it, for a period of time, and Blanche has been the acting attorney general for a period of time, he's had a lot of power. And that motivates people. And we can't just push that under the rug, that this is some people's motivations, even more than money. Sometimes it's just power, being close to power or whatever. And granted, I wouldn't want Trump as a client. He's a shitty client, absolutely crappy. But the fact is that, well, if I want something down the road, and I'm sure in those back rooms that those things are discussed. I'm sure they're discussed. Yeah, you get what you get.
Yeah. I think Todd Blanche and Pam Bondi and some of the others will go down with Roger Brooke-Taney as former attorney generals and then Supreme Court justices who will live in infamy forever.
Absolutely.
Probably not the most coveted role in the world, but I guess it's better than being my brother's paralegal. So maybe it's working out for him.
Yeah, hey, it's a step up from being a Gershwer's paralegal. So I mean, come on. And again, motivations are different in this world. I mean, in the world that they live in. And that's all there is to it. And every profession has those ulterior motives that people get involved into things for.
Yeah,
I mean, that's all there is to it.
I guess for me, I just can't understand having no moral compass or ethical standard whatsoever. I don't understand that at all.
People like that exist, Brooke.
I know they do. To me, it's completely baffling.
Imagine if people like that did not exist, we'd be talking about how bad the Mets are this year, and Scott would not be able to shut up about the damn Knicks winning the first game. I mean, that's what we would have right now. So, we need these people to be complete asshats.
Well,
because
maybe
come on.
Maybe we'd have a happier audience listening to sports. Although, and as you say, it's just, the War Powers Act passed the House, but it will not go any further, which is, I mean, it's a nice symbolism, but it has no actual effect. Now, I have a question. I know you were saying that Mike Johnson said, "Oh, he won't do anything with the House next year and this and that." If there is, and now I understand also that somewhere, I don't know who it is, but I don't know which, if it's a poll or something, they have for the midterms that, Republicans are way ahead and Democrats are all going to lose and all this and that. Now, if that is what Trump is being told, when that doesn't happen, or if that doesn't happen, of course, he's going to say it's rigged, it's rigged, it's rigged. Now, can Mike Johnson refuse to seat anybody he prefers not to? And as I understand it also, some states with Republicans in charge are already gearing up they already have lawsuits ready to go and are saying that they will not verify the election. They won't certify the elections. Can Mike Johnson refuse to seat people the way he was refusing to seat the young woman from Arizona? Unless they're Republicans?
Can he? Yeah. Can he do it successfully? I'm not really sure. Would it be a bad move on his part? Absolutely. I don't want to speculate on this. Is probably a good topic for a later date when we get a little bit closer to finding out what's going on. I'm still hoping that Mike Johnson gets voted out. So, he's just when you get right down to it, he's just a congressman. He can be voted out, and somebody can get out there. It's been done before. Jim Wright was voted out when he was Speaker of the House. It can happen. And you find the right candidate and you get him out of there. You're going to have to play probably a little on the darker side of politics to do it, but well worth doing. I think the bigger thing that the listener brings up is the war, because we can't really lose sight of the fact that once started. And it started, right? Once Trump ripped up the agreement in 2018, shouldn't have done that. We all understand that. It is reality that he did it. It is reality that they went back to enriching uranium. And it is reality that we are in a war right now that Trump got us into, that he doesn't know how to get us out of. Hezbollah announced that they don't want a ceasefire. So, how are we going to get out of this thing? And the options are looking more and more dangerous and more deadly for a lot of people out there. And, this is a reality that we have to live in. We're not just talking about, the collapse of global economies, which is coming. I don't think there's any doubt about it. We're seeing how much economies rely on oil, and the reserves are running down. Trump is running through our strategic petroleum reserve. We have a lot of countries out there that are on fumes right now, and bad things are coming, and we're going to suffer from them. You and I, we are all going to suffer. None of us are particularly wealthy people who can insulate ourselves in some way from what's going on. I've got a pond that has fish in it, and I'm probably going to be eating some of those fish in a couple of years, as bad tasting as I think they probably are. There's game out there. I'm not a hunter myself, but the squirrels are going to start looking very delicious at some point along the way. I mean, I'm sort of joking about it, but it is true. I mean, the shelves are going to be empty. You're not going to be able to get the things. I know I have an entire closet filled with cans of sardines. It's just like we're in rough shape. Yes, it's his fault, but it's our problem that we're going to have to deal with. And we should not be gleeful about it. There's there's no way to start whistling past this graveyard. We're going past the 15th floor on our way down from the roof, and it doesn't look as bad yet as it's going to look, but it's going to look bad pretty soon. And I don't think that we should be happy about it. It really would be better if we could had some smart people who could figure out how to get us out of this situation rather than just deepening it. But the fact is that we don't. And we're in deep. We're all in deep, and there's no reason to have schadenfreude about it because we are the test case here. We are the subjects, and it is not looking good.
Yeah. I don't think I'd eat those sardines. But anyway, um, I all right, Brooke. To one question you had, I agree with Scott. I think it's too early for us to make any of those kind of predictions or even think about that at this point. The fact is that if he was to do that, that would create a constitutional crisis, and he would go down in history as the guy that did that. And I don't think that anybody, no matter how loyal they are, wants to be the guy that created the constitutional crisis. I just don't see that being the case. But who knows? Um, but to Scott's point, yeah, the war is going on. There seems to be no off ramp. The Iranians are taking the same track that they've always taken. We can wait you out. And they are very good at that. They have waited out an awful lot of presidents. Now, no other president was stupid enough to do what Trump has done. And now he's basically, yeah, all right, you've done a lot of damage to their military. Gotcha. Yep, that's great. The Strait of Hormuz is still closed, although you said 2 weeks ago it was open. Now it's closed again. There is no direction here. And there are no adults, it seems, that can figure out what to do. And that's the real problem that we've run into. Diplomacy, I know people say, oh, diplomacy doesn't work. Well, you've got one of two options. Either completely annihilate Iran and have it be over and done with, or diplomacy. Those are your two options. If you do anything else, you're just playing into the hands of the Iranians, who basically are saying, hey, we'll just wait you out. And that's what's happening today. I don't.
Well, Mark, the more likely scenario is that Trump will walk away, declare victory. His base will agree that he has a tremendous victory. I mean, Marco Rubio said it the other day, right? That this is a victory. We're calling this one a W. It's outrageous. None of the objectives were met. All we're going to do is get back to as close to what was reality before, but now with Iran, controlling the Strait of Hormuz, and they're now saying that they're going to use their Houthi proxies to control the other Strait of Bab, whatever it is. And so we're gonna have it is going to be a different world, and Iran is going to be a power player in this world.
Absolutely.
Because that is the other solution here, and it's not satisfactory. Iran will, be free to get the bomb. They have not achieved any kind of regime change. None of the objectives, the different things that Trump said this war is all about, are going to be affected by this. It's all just going to go back to the way it was, but worse.
Yeah, and the fact is that even if Trump declares victory, it is not going to change the reality that the American people are facing. Yeah, I'm declaring victory, we won, blah, 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 but the conditions that have caused what the situation that the American people are in economically will still continue to exist. And
it will continue to get worse.
Correct.
As time goes on.
I mean,
we have no plan for a backup either.
Correct.
Not with any, just put more tariffs, right?
Well, who knows?
He just added more tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and Great Britain, and all this and that.
Right. Absolutely. And no
plan. Sorry, Mark. I know I interrupted you. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, all that's true. All of that is true. But the fact is that we're going to be still in the same position that we were in before, and that's because of the actions. I have always said the president does not have a button on the Resolute desk that changes the price of gasoline. But the actions the president takes can impact the price of gasoline. This war in Iran, it impacted the price of gasoline, which impacts the price of everything because we move everything using gasoline. It's the way it works. Sorry, that's just plain economics 101. The thing that gets me is when we talk about, it's still going to impact. And yes, Scott's right. His people, his base, if he declares victory, are all going to say, oh, yeah, that was a great victory. What a great guy. Da, 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 da. But their prices aren't coming down. They're not going to come down. He basically just walked away and left a mess, which is something that he's normally going to do. but there's still going to have people in the base that are still going to support him. I've had conversations here with friends. When Biden was elected president, gas went up 10 cents within the first like 2 weeks. And all I heard was that asshole Biden. Well, they've gone up almost $1.50. And you know what I hear out of those same people? Oh, they'll come down. Oh, they'll come down. Oh, they'll come down. You know, there's no rational. Sometimes we try to put a rational spin on an irrational thought process. And the fact is that this just is not rational. He's made a mess of it. He's done what he always does, which is walk away from the mess and leave somebody else to clean it up. And yeah, it may come down to the next president. It may come down to them. So when you're thinking in 2028 and those gas prices and food prices and things are still very high, you better be voting not for R and D and give a damn who R and D are. Next to their name. You better give a damn about who can fix this. Who can fix the mess that we're in? And you know what? There's very few people that I can see in our political class today. Now there's a few I think that could, but there's very few. We need a new political class. I've been saying that all along. We have a terrible political class, and that has brought us to the point that we're at. And unless people start to realize that it isn't just my guy in Congress that's the problem, it's your guy too. And I'll change my guy. You need to change your guy too, because they're all part of the systematic problem that we're sitting in.
I don't know what you guys saw, but Trump's name is still on the Kennedy Center. I think there's a viral video of people removing it, but it hasn't happened yet. From what I understand, Doug Burgum has declared, who's Parks Interior, I forget, has said that they're going to appeal that ruling, and so that nothing has happened yet. And there has been a viral video going around that shows workers removing it, but it hasn't happened yet. It's still there. So, we need to temper our schadenfreude a little bit on that one.
Oh, darn.
Yeah. So I think the main point here is that we're in deep shit. Trump has put us in deep shit, right?
We are. Yeah.
This is a very unacademic thing to say, but this is we have never been weak. I used to say this all the time in his first administration. We have never been more weak than we are right now. But Brooke, who you're going to be really happy to hear this, I think, who is going to benefit greatly from this is Canada. Because we get most of our oil from Canada. And China has already gone to Canada, and South Korea, I believe, has already gone to Canada, and everybody is asking Canada for oil. And, there are other players. Venezuela seems to be pumping or scraping, whatever they do to get their oil. Russia, of course, is exporting more oil and selling more oil, which is benefiting them and hurting Ukraine. But right here in our neighborhood, Canada is benefiting from this and could actually emerge as more of a power player over time than they ever have been before, which probably would be a good thing.
Absolutely.
Well, there's two problems with that. The one is that the Athabascan tar sands in Alberta is apparently the filthiest oil in the world. And secondly, the Alberta separation amendment issue, the referendum, that is still underway. And some group apparently got their hands on something like 3 million, or I don't even think there's 300 million. No, there's not 300 million people living in Alberta. 3 million Albertan voters' personal data, and will not give it back, and are not cooperating with the RCMP. So it's not even clear which side of the issue the premier is on. She's been all buddy-buddy with Trump before. And there is genuine concern. They don't seem to care. The premier and some of the people she's been close to in her party really don't seem to care about the First Nations treaties that are with with Ottawa that predate the existence of Canada, and those treaties take precedence over Alberta, the province. They don't seem to care about those treaties. That doesn't matter. There's like an exceptions clause or something that people are pointing to. So that, whether the separation issue goes anywhere or not, it's still very much alive. And there are deep concerns about Premier Danielle Smith's allegiances to Ottawa and what's going to happen there, and stealing data and refusing to give it back. There are genuine concerns. So now they're going to have a referendum, I think in September, whether or not to have a referendum on the ballot to separate.
Well, we'll see how that works out.
Yeah.
Good luck, Alberta, because I don't think you'll be able to stand on your own.
I think
they won't.
Mark, one thing we can agree on is that we still, as powerful as they may be becoming, we still don't give a shit about Canada.
Oh no, I like Canada.
No, well, Alberta better not separate. They really, really should not do that. But they're still coming. A couple of people from, are still coming to talk to the Trump administration, which they should not be doing. They don't represent the Canadian government. There's still that, $500 billion or something. I mean, they really should not be dreaming of getting involved with Trump. I don't know what they think they're doing.
Anyway,
it's so I'm hopeful that it will be good for Canada and not something that's going to really become a problem later. But Canada is diversifying away from the United States quickly, which is good. So I do hope we answered that question, Roberta. Thank you for your questions.
And that's all the time we have for today's episode. The Nova Society is a production of Nova Society Media, a division of the Phoenix Research Institute. We want to thank our production partners, Buzzsprout, who hosts the Nova Society, Audacity, our editing team, Apple Podcasts, the largest source of podcast and music online, Spotify, the most popular platform for the Nova Society, and iHeartRadio, your destination for all things music and podcasting. The Nova Society is available on all of these and other quality platforms listed in our description. And most importantly, we want to thank you, our listeners. Without your support, the Nova Society could not be possible. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing on the platform of your choice. It's easy, it's free, and helps our channel grow. For questions or comments, you can reach us at nova.society.podcast@gmail.com. So on behalf of Dr. Brooklyn Ann Weldon, Dr. Scott Gershworth, and all of our production partners here at the Nova Society, I'm Dr. Mark Bound. Remember, the true power of society is knowledge. Thank you for listening, and we hope to see you again next time. We'd like to thank our sponsor for this episode, the Journal of Interdisciplinary Conflict Sciences, the JICS. This open access journal, double peer-reviewed, provides a platform for emerging scholars to publish their work and engage in meaningful dialogue across disciplines. The JICS is currently accepting article submissions on an ongoing basis and is published through the NovaWorks Scholarly Repository at Nova Southeastern University. You'll find a link to the journal in our episode description.